computer. Hello. Welcome to the Learning Tree Book Club regular monthly meeting. And I'm Meredith McGee here in Jackson, Mississippi.
Hello, my name is Salama, and I'm almost in third grade, and I am 8 years old. I'm Miriam Yusuf, and I'm a part of the Learning Tree Book Club.
Hello, I'm Vicki Jenkins here in Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay, let's read. And I know Miriam is going first.
Today I'm going to be reading Speak for Me. Nomi Parker hated 3 things above all else: spiders, public speaking, and dogs. Nothing scared her more than turning on the bathroom light in the middle of the night and finding a humongous hairy spider on the tile floor. Nothing got her palms sweating like the idea of standing in front of her class to give a presentation, which made the fact that she wanted to be a theater star hard to imagine. But neither of those compared to her fear of dolls. When her friends had sleepovers, she made them put all their dolls in the closet or in another room. Ideally, she would have preferred to hide them all in another building, or on the other side of town, or on another continent. When she went down to the toy aisle, she had to look at the floor so she wouldn't catch sight of those beady doll eyes watching her lifelessly. When a distant aunt had mistakenly brought her a doll for her 8th birthday, she hid it under her bed, crying for the rest of the party. She hadn't come out until her dad assured her that the doll was gone and never coming back. She didn't know what was worse after that, having nearly been struck with a doll or having all her friends laugh at her. She didn't just hate dolls because they were creepy, even though that was definitely part of it. She hated them because whenever she looked at them, she started to wonder, what would it be like to be stuck in a box like that? What if every doll in the world could actually think, but they weren't able to talk and move on their own? Sometimes she had nightmares about becoming a doll, unable to move or speak, unable to stop her owner when they decided to cut off her hair or put on girls' clothes or toss her to the family dog. When she woke from those nightmares, her palms would sweat just like during a presentation, and her heart would race just as if she'd seen 100 spiders in her bed. The nightmares were bad, really bad, and they would soon become her reality.
Miriam, what did you say the name of that book was?
It was called Speak for Me.
Speak for Me. And who is speaking? And who did they want to speak for them?
Okay, so there's this girl named Nomi, and she's scared of dolls, And eventually in the book, she would have this doll that she could tie to her, that is it that could do probably anything that you could do on the phone.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Is that a chapter book?
yeah,
Okay.
that honestly sounds like my worst nightmare, said, staring at Jenna in relief. Oh, come on, her best friend said. You and me singing a duet? We'd be great. I don't know, Nomi muttered. Nomi looked from her friend to the poster taped on the school's wall. There were dozens of other posters papered all over the school, so everywhere she turned, she was taunted with the same message. Join the talent show. Be a star. And sure, that was your dream. Someday she wanted to be a star next to Hamilton, to spend her nights under the lights Broadway and her days exploring all the museums and cafes New York had to offer. She knew that meant practicing, and she did. She sang every night in front of the mirror and took voice lessons every weekend. She could play the piano and recite scales by heart. The trouble was, her stage fright meant that this was about as far as she training could go. Whenever she thought about auditioning for a play or taking part in a talent show, she started to hyperventilate. So far, the only people who see her perform have been her father, her, her voice coach, and her stuffed animals. You can pick the song, Jenna urged. Now, chor- choreograph a dance. And wait, we're doing a dance too? Of course, Jenna exclaimed. Does Beyonce just stand there? No, we gotta put on a show. Naomi sighed, mostly because she knew Jenna well. They've been friends since they were both in diapers, and she knew Jenna would always get her win. Always. It was easier if Naomi just accepted it. Now, putting up a fight would never work in her favor. Okay, Naomi relented. I'll do it. The moment she said it, cold sweat broke out from under her skin. Jenna didn't notice. She did a little cheer that made a few kids stop and stare at them, but she didn't mind. Unlike Naomi, she never had a problem being the center of attention. And maybe that was why Naomi and Jenna had remained friends for so long. Jenna was always happy to take the center stage, be it in a school play or in their small group of friends. Naomi was perfectly content to sink into the shadows, to make the bit part or listen while Jenna recounted their shared voices to the group. And if that meant Naomi didn't get the attention she secretly craved, well, there were worse things. Like when Jenna got into her head that they needed to do something ridiculously in public together, like taking part in the talent show. Jenna was Naomi's opposite in so many ways. Tall to Naomi's short, fair to Naomi's dark, loud to Naomi's quiet, confident to Naomi's shy. Maybe that was also why Naomi was okay being Jenna's shadow. She figured that someday maybe Jenna's confidence would wear off on her. Usually, Naomi had tried to wiggle her way out of doing the talent show in a day or two. Once Jenna had lost some of her enthusiasm, but it was their first year of middle school, and she secretly wanted to make a big impression on all her new classmates. She was a sixth grader now. Surely she'd be more confident and wanted to put herself out there to follow her dream. Besides, she knew if she waited, She would just chicken out for the next few years. And as for trying in high school, no way. She'd seen high school boys, no matter her age or year, she'd be she'd never be comfortable standing up in front of a crowd of them, not unless she already had experience on stage, which meant it was now or never. Jenna took Naomi by the arm and led her out of the school, already talking about the latest dance moves she'd seen online, which felt a little a little silly to know, since she still hadn't picked a song. What am I even thinking? Naomi wondered. Jenna will listen to whatever idea I have. Tell me why it's probably not the best choice. Pick another song and try to make it sound like it was my idea in the first place. She's just letting me think I get to pick. Oddly, it didn't upset Naomi to think that. She was used to it. And besides, Jenna knew what's best. She'd pick the right song. She always knew the right thing to do. Always. That's it for chapter 1.
Okay, for chapter 1. So can you give us a summary of chapter 1 and tell us the name of the main characters?
Okay. The main character is called Naomi, who is a very shy person that has a very confident and smart friend named Jenna. And they've seen a talent show going on at school, so they decided to audition, and they are already making plans for what they're going to do when the audition day arrives.
Okay, so they signed up for the talent show?
Yeah.
But they're trying to figure out what they're going to do to sign up for the talent show.
Yeah.
I get you. Okay, okay. Okay, well, very good. All right, Solomon, what you got?
Creepy pair of underwear.
Okay, creeping pair of underwear. That's gonna be a funny one. I can't wait to hear this.
Jasper Rabbit needed new underwear. On Thursday, Mom took him to the underwear store and grabbed the last 3 packages of plain white. But as they headed for the checkout, Jasper spotted them.
What's their name? Jasper Rabbit and who else?
And the mom.
Jasper Rabbit and who?
Jasper and the mom. The mom doesn't have her name, so.
Oh, I see you say it. Jasper Rabbit and the mom. Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Okay. The mom is the taller one.
Creepy underwear. So pretty, so comfy. They were glorious.
Oh, but it's comfortable, creepy underwear, huh?
Can we get these, Jasper, please? I think they're a little too creepy, said Mom. They're not creepy, they're cool, said Jasper. I'm not a little bunny anymore. I'm a big rabbit now. Mom agreed to buy one pair. That night, Jasper wore his cool little underwear to bed. Do you want me to leave the hallway light on at asked Dad. Dad, I'm not a little bunny anymore, said Jasper. I'm a big rabbit now. His dad shut the door, and that's when Jasper noticed. The underwear glowed, a glowish greenish glow.
Okay. Glow in the dark.
Yeah. He closed his eyes. He pulled up the covers. He buried his face in his pillow, but it couldn't help. He could still see that glowish greenish glow. Jasper leaped out of bed and put on a pair of plain white. He stuffed the creepy underwear in the bottom of his laundry hamper. He finally fell asleep.
Fell asleep in the clothes basket. Oh, unmute yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You say he fell asleep in the clothes basket?
He said. Jasper leaped out of bed and put on a pair of plain whites. He stuffed the creepy underwear in the bottom of his laundry hamper. He finally fell asleep.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
When he got up the next day, he was wearing the creepy underwear. Jasper threw them into the garbage can. He was still a big rabbit. He wasn't scared of anything, but he was done with the scary underwear. So Jasper was doing his homework when he heard it. A scratchy, scraping sound coming from his dresser. He opened the dresser and they were back, staring at him with that glowish greenish glow. He snatched the creepy underwear out of the drawer. He grabbed a big envelope and some stamps. Bye bye, scary underwear, he said, dropping the package in the mailbox.
Oh, he mailing it to China?
Yeah,
Who he mailing it to?
anybody in China.
Okay.
When he opened the front door the next morning, there they were, and were those chopsticks his creepy pair of underwear had somehow returned from China, and it has brought some souvenirs. Jasper grabbed his mom's good sewing scissors. She didn't like him using them, but this was an underwear emergency.
The underwear made it to China?
Yeah, and he came back with souvenirs like chopsticks, lights from China, and a panda bear stuffed toy.
Okay.
This time, the creepy underwear were gone for good.
He celebrated.
Yeah,
Why is he celebrating?
because he cut the creepy underwear into pieces.
It threw it up in the air.
Yeah,
And that's the end of the book, huh?
there's still a little bit more. At that time, he slowly opened his underwear drawer. Nothing, just plain white undies. He searched under his bed. He shook out his lampshades. Phew! There was no sign of creepy underwear. He went to the bathroom to comb his ears. They were back.
They came back from China, huh?
What's the matter with you? His mom asked. You're so scared lately. Nothing, he yelled. A grown rabbit couldn't be terrified of his underpants.
So that's his mother standing behind the door.
Yeah. He sized the underwear, he snaggled a shovel from the garden, and he wrote. He didn't stop pedaling until he reached Squig Hanger Hill.
Where are they riding bikes to?
He's riding the bike to the hill. He's riding his bike to the hill, so he's riding the bike to the hill.
Okay.
Jasper began to dig. He digged into the hole was dark and deep, and 100% underwear proof. He dropped the underwear in. They gleamed from the bottom, that glorious greenish glow, but not for long.
What is he doing on the hill?
He digged a hole inside the hill, then dropped the glowing underpants inside, then put back the dirt that he dug up in, on top of the underwear, and then he's jumping up and down because he finally got rid of them.
He buried him.
When he got home, Jasper crept up to his dresser. They couldn't be in there. There's no way, right? He reached for the handle, he picked it, nothing, just plain white. Jasper smiled and turned out the light.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
And that's
Wait,
it. Oh,
sorry, there's a little bit more.
okay.
He turned off the light.
Well, that was a funny story. I
There's
enjoyed
still
it.
more.
Uh,
There was just one problem. It was really dark in there, even for a big rabbit.
okay, now what is that?
These are his eyes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Jasper turned on the lights. He looked at his long glowing pair of plain white. Then he knew what he had to do. The creepy underwear was still a little muddy, but they were filled in the room, still filling the room with the gentle greenish glow.
Now, what's the green on that second page? Okay.
The next day, Jasper gathered his allowance money and went to the underwear store all by himself, just like a big rabbit. That night, Jasper wasn't scared at all. As he lay down to sleep, he smiled. So did his underwear, because because they had finally found someone who wasn't scared.
Okay.
Of creepy underwear. And
Okay. That was it. He got rid of his problem, huh? All right. Vicky, are you going next or you want me to read? Thank you, Solomon, for that.
I think you should go. Let me.
Okay. Y'all remember I was reading Henry Boyd's Freedom Bed. Okay, so here's Henry. Can y'all see him? Okay. Okay. After 7 years of hiring Henry out to the Virginia Salt Works, his father decided to keep Henry on the hemp farm back in Carlisle. You remember his father was the white man who owned the plantation and owned him and his mother. Henry asked his father how much it would cost to buy his freedom and realized he still did not have enough. His father wasn't known for being nice, but to Henry, he was fair. After learning that Henry had helped at the cooperative, he had an idea. He would let Henry learn the trade of carpentry. He thought it would be helpful to have Henry make tools and furniture for the farm. Henry loved working in the wood shop. It made him feel like he wasn't a slave. Day in and day out, sawed, planed, and hammered in the farm's workshop. He worked overtime, saved every penny, and one day he had the money he needed to buy his freedom papers. Y'all see that?
Say,
You see it? Okay. Henry carried those papers close to his chest when he moved to Cincinnati. It was 1825, and Henry was excited to start his new life as a free man. He had a new mission. He wanted to earn enough money to live and to buy freedom papers for his younger siblings. Ah, what a great big brother. Even though Cincinnati was a city without slaves, Henry quickly learned it wasn't easy for Black people. Everywhere he applied, he was turned down. We don't hire colored here, they'd say. Go find some work somewhere else. Did you see that? It says, go away. Furniture, open, close, 8:30 p.m. But Henry didn't give up. One day, Henry met a white man who was fair and offered him a job as a house carpenter. But not everyone was happy. Many of the white carpenters put down their tools and quit when Henry, a Black man, started working. They didn't want to work in the same furniture company with a Black man. So Henry had to leave. See the picture?
my word.
Yeah. Henry Boyd, he tries again. Furniture manufacturer. Henry knew what he had to do. If no one will give me a job, I will make my own, he said. Wow, he's sharp. He said, I will make my own. During his first 8 years in Cincinnati, Henry found work building houses. He got married and earned enough money to free his younger brother and sister. That's a great big brother there. Henry
It sure
eventually, yes, he is. Henry eventually made a name for himself in Cincinnati. In 1839, started his own furniture factory. Go, Henry! Where he employed both black and white men. Okay. I'm gonna do one more page. Henry created a bedstead that had a specialized stabilizing screw fastening system. It tied the horizontal rails and the vertical posts into a strong bed frame. The first of its kind. He was able to get his design patented in 1833. His bedstead was so successful, people began calling it the board bed. It was so innovative that other furniture makers tried to copy Henry's invention. Eventually, Henry's factory turned out more than 1,500 bedsteads each year. They would ship them to growing cities near Ohio and all over the South, down the Ohio and Mississippi rivers.
Okay,
And
Henry.
this, look, this the bed. It said, Pegs,
Who's
ropes.
the company?
A former slave, Henry Boyd, created this company and hired black and white men, the same man who white men refused to work beside. He learned the trade and started his own factory and hired black and white men in Cincinnati, Ohio. And this is his bed frame.
But
And
what was the
people,
name of the company? What's the,
I think it was Boyd's factory,
Boys Back? Okay.
Boyd's furniture factory. And this is all the parts of his bed that he invented. And people still buy this frame today. That's like how many years? (2023 minus 1839). 184 years ago, he created a bed frame. A former
Okay.
slave, learned the skill, created his own business, and people still buying that bed frame. Isn't it a beautiful bed frame, though?
Yeah.
Mhm. He said they wouldn't hire him, he'll create his own. All right. Okay, Vicky, it's your turn now.
All right. Okay, let me go. Learning Black. Jack G. Beverly. It was the spring of 1957 when 6 of us white college-age males piled into my 1956 turquoise and white Chevy sedan, headed for a night on the town, Kansas City, Missouri. Like many other large metropolitan areas, Kansas City suffered from the suburban sprawl, sucking businesses and white professionals out of the ever expanding suburb. Many of the empty buildings and deserted homes were Central City deteriorating rapidly. The remaining population was primarily African American, although the term was not used in those days. That stag night, our goal was to go to Orchid Room, a Negro nightclub in the 18th and Vine. It it was seedy part of town, but we felt we were up to the new experience. I was leery of driving in that part of the city and was uncertain where I was uncertain about going to that place, to such a place. It was a warm evening when we arrived, and we discovered sidewalks and streets swarmed with people. None of them were white. That made me uncomfortable. I'm not sure how the others felt. Since none of us knew exactly where the club was, I drove slowly, constantly worried about the crowd. I mistakenly drove past the nightclub, made a right turn at the first intersection, easing through the pedestrians, hoping to go around the block. I discovered the street was dead end. When I stopped, people mingled all around the car. I was nervous. No, I was scared. I had no idea how I was going to get back to the street when the mob of the people behind me, my friends were twisting their heads back and forth and uttering useless advice. I couldn't see well behind me. I was afraid to back up. I was afraid to back up in case I might hit someone. We couldn't just sit in the street, and there was no place to turn around. Even though it was a warm evening, the windows were up in the car. Suddenly, a middle-aged man emerged from the crowd in the swarm of people, knocked on my window. Though startled, me, though startled, with this black face inches from my car, looking straight at me. I cranked the handle slowly to lower the window, but only slightly. "Are you looking for the orchid room?" he asked. I nodded, yes. "You drove past it. It was a block that way," pointing back in that direction we came. Of course, I knew, but of course, I knew that, but said there was no place to turn around, and I'm afraid to back up. So many people behind the car. "I'll get the people out your way," he said. "Then you can drive back up. If you drive to the door, it will park your car for you." Okay. My anxiety eased, but I was still uncertain about our safety. The man walked to the rear of the car and began telling the crowd, "Move aside," so I could back up to the main street. With his help in his hand, I was able to get the car headed in the right direction. And I thanked him and waved him as we head for the nightclub. I felt a bit better being back in control. He was right. When I pulled up to the entrance, a valet came to the door, opened the door, and let us out, saying, "I'll park your car for you." He held out his hand, and I studied him a bit. And with slight hesitation, I gave him my keys. I just gave him my car keys to a Negro. I thought, I wasn't sure if I would ever see the car again, and in what condition it might be in if it was returned. Inside a dark, dimly lit room in a veiled cigarette smoke. Dimly lit room veiled with cigarette smoke. A usually mixed odor of tobacco, beer, and whiskey and other unidentifiable sources filled the air. Scattered around an area for dancing were a formica top for formica topped tables with straight chairs. The room was plain with no distinguishable decoration. Music was playing over the speakers, and people were sitting in a few of the tables. None of the patrons were white, nor none of the employees. 6 well-dressed young white college men had entered into the room of colored people, into the world of colored people. Everyone turned and looked at a slightly none were used to. Apparently, not many whites ever came there. And if we weren't sure, and we weren't sure that we were welcome. A man halfway across the room, who must have been the manager, motioned with us with one arm and shouted, "Welcome, come in, come in." He led us to a table near the small 8-inch raised stage. After pulling 2 tables together and arranged the chairs for us to sit, we ordered drinks from the waiter. And we were told the band would be back was on break and would be back shortly. By the time our order arrived, the band returned and began to play some jazz. The music was good and we finally relaxed. None of our chairs we finally relaxed. Settled in our chairs, we began to enjoy ourselves. As we talked, a young, nice-looking Black woman, again, Black was not common term. Nicely looked young Black woman, again, quote, Black was not a common term used at that time. We came to the stage and began singing. Her voice was fantastic. As she sang, she offered us a smile, treating us with a part of the crowd like the rest of the customers. Treating us as a part of the crowd like the rest of the customers. We applauded heartily at the end of each piece. Her voice was crisp, perfect tune, as we ran through her repertoire of songs. When the band took a break, the singer came to our table, personally welcomed us to tell us her appreciated our applause. We asked her to join us. And our surprise, she did. "Can we buy you a drink?" I asked. "Thank you, but I don't drink hard liquor," she responded. But she told the waiter to bring her a Coke. During each break, she joined us and we chatted, sharing information about each of us. The evening began with an uncomfortable, scary experience, ended up in a very enjoyable and pleasant evening. When it was the time to go, we said our goodbyes to the singer and she managed to come to thank us for coming. We would be welcome anytime in the future. His employee and customers had been overly nice. His employees and would welcome us at any time in the future. His employees and customers had been very nice to us, white boys. At the door, they made us, whom we had parked our car, retrieve it. And it was our perfect it was in perfect condition. Even all our 4 hubcaps were on. My had been for my fretting had been for naught. It turned out to be memorable night, and at the town we all would remember fondly. By the way, the singer was that 19-year-old Nancy Wilson, who still has a great voice, and was shortly after we met that cannonball, adroitly suggested that she should come away with her original pop style and her music toward jazz and ballads. In 1962, she collaborated with and produced an album, Nancy Wilson Cannonball, which propelled her to national performance. I still have that album. That evening in the town, I learned what Black was only skin deep. Learning Black. That lets us know that there is a Black lesson, to be learned by a lot of white college age students, as they say, because these college age students had never been into a Negro world. So they had no concept of where they were going and what they were doing. And they made a good experience. They met Nancy Wilson. I thought that was extremely well.
And you said they met Cannonball too?
Yeah, met Cannonball, yeah.
And where were they when they met them?
At that orchid, was the orchid room that they were attempted to go? The orchid room. A Negro nightclub at the orchid.
Oh, I guess Kansas. It was a jazz club.
Uh-huh.
It must sound like a jazz club.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I wish I had been there.
So this was 57.
1957?
1957.
Wow. Nancy Wilson was singing at 57, isn't that song?
Uh-huh.
So you read a chapter?
Yeah, I read a chapter, yes.
What was the name of that chapter?
Black. It's from that.
What was the name of the chapter and who wrote that chapter?
Jack Beverly.
Okay.
And the chapter's term was Learning Black.
Okay. Very good. All right, Marianne, you ready to go next?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to be reading some poems I made. Summer is a time for fun to jump and play in the sun. Swimming, sand castles, slip and slides, bumper cars, and thrilling rides. Summer is a time for fun to eat a hot dog on a bun. Camping and amusement parks, bright fireworks in the dark. Summer is a time for fun to blow bubbles and catch each one. Shells, sandals, and the seashore, sprinklers, picnics, and so much more. Where are you going, summer breeze, off beyond the fields and trees? What do you see when you blow that way? Children jumping from bales of hay. What do you hear as you travel the land? People dancing to an outdoor band. What do you smell as you rush about? The perfume of blossom rustling above. What do you taste as you soar high? Fresh corn on the cob and apple pie. When you feel as you climb up the great heights, the heel of the day and warmth of the nights. What do you wish for you as you leave? Let all folks enjoy this midsummer's eve. School is out and summer camps start, and older people feel younger at heart. And even at night, if it's warm and lazy, if you don't like summer, you must be crazy. Swim in the pool, eat some ice creams, stare at clouds, get lost in the drink. If you don't like summer, you must be crazy. Go to the beach, build a castle, or you and your friend in the sand can wrestle. Lie on the green grass, make a chain with a daisy. If you don't like summer, you must be crazy. Yeah, that's all the poems I made for summer.
Hey, Marianne,
Yeah.
are you gonna stop there?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay. Solomon, you got another one?
It's called Earthquake.
Earthquakes. Oh, that sounds like an educational book there. Okay, earthquakes.
Imagine you're sitting at the table eating your cereal. Suddenly, the milk in the bowl starts to shake. The table to move. The table begins to move. The ground beneath your feet is shaking. What is happening? It's an earthquake. What should you do? Take cover. Get under the table. Crouch next to a sturdy object. Stay away from windows. Most of all, stay calm. You'll be all right.
I think her screen is frozen.
Have they left?
It dropped. We'll see if they're coming back. You got another one, Vic? You
I'm
want to read till they come back?
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
now I'm gonna let you read and come back.
The National Association of Colored Women's Club. The founder is Ella Jordan. Mrs. Ella Jordan was middle-aged African-American woman who lived in the west side of Pensacola. However, many have not, her name may not have appeared in any of today's African-American history books or in local Pensacola history. However, Ms. Jordan was a devoted club worker, community leader, educator, political activist, and the founder of the City of Pensacola Federated Colored Women's Club. Records indicate that Ms. Jordan was recruiting club groups in the late 1920s, but it wasn't until May of 1930 rather, that she established the City Pensacola Federated Colored Women's Club. Ms. Ella Jordan served as the first president of the club. Became affiliated with the national, wait a minute, the oldest African American women's organization in America. Aside, well, I guess it's still oldest, aside from the sororities, rather, and an associate of established Washington, D.C. in 1896. Hundreds of African American women's clubs were together from across the United States. And formed, the first Florida Association was formed in Osceola, Florida in 1908, as many clubs became state and city federated clubs. The main purpose of the association was to address some immediate issues that affected the African American communities and help them to become a better society. Ms. Ella Jordan was born in Alabama, May 15, 1873, and lived in Pensacola as early as in the 1890s. She married Prince Albert Jordan, January 15, 1906. She was the second oldest of Henry and Clara Jordan, and a family living in the Pensacola since 1800s. The 1880 census reported that the Jordans had 4 children. Albert, her husband, was the youngest son. While researching the club work, the Jordans found that the article in March 4th, 1927, the Colored Citizens newspaper, Mrs. Jordan's, Mr. and Mrs. P.A. Jordan, was issued in school activist for school number 101, located in West Gregory Street. They worked in the community advocacy for better schools. It was during the late decade of the 19th century and early decades of the 20th century that Mrs. Jordan encouraged African American women to take part in their community services. Through the club work, through community services, through the club work, she launched movement to incorporate the community clubs, to work with women, children, and other neighborhoods, since she emphasized the need to improve the conditions of the family and living and develop home economic skills, the more character and self-determination for the betterment of African American families. She organized many community meetings in her church and held club gatherings at her home to accomplish the work and development of various clubs in Pensacola communities. As early as the 1920s, Mrs. Jordan recruited women to be involved in the state level of the Black women's movement in the 1920s. The Black women's movement took a leading role in the support of the voter registration movement in the state of Florida. According to the Southwestern Christian Association, the newspaper African American Women in Florida accounted for a remarkable 40% of the total women's voter registration in the state. Movement, especially across 28 counties, with the Florida State Federated Colored Women's Club as actively promoting the use of the ballot to address the lack of resources allowed for African American education and crumbling physical infrastructure of the African American neighborhoods. Mrs. Jordan was highly involved in the Grand Court Order of the Catholic and received the degree in the ritual degree of love, which bound her to fidelity, harmony, and love to uplift all mankind. She was very respected and highly qualified to serve as a neighbor as herself. In June 1st, 1923, Ms. Jordan was re-elected to the post and the second officer of the state of Florida, Order of the Grand Worthy. Inspectrix Court of the Calamathian for 14 consecutive terms. The meeting was held in Gainesville, Florida, with 250 delegates present. She stated in the article that the grand sessions had been held in the western metropolitans of the state. She hoped that to bring the assembly to the Pensacola within the 2 years. Mrs. Jordan Catholic also served as the president of the Ladies of Interdenominational Council of the Pensacola District of the Colored Citizens newspaper, dated Ladies Interdenominational Council for Women in the Pensacola District. The Colored Women Center, the newspaper dated November 14, 1924, included articles surrounding the Ladies Council to meet. The articles by Ella Jordan read, Ladies Interdenominational Council is required to meet on Thursday the 7th at 7:30 p.m., November 20th, 1924, at the Allen Chapel Church. All other churches are asked to attend. Send a representative. In the 1930s, Ms. Jordan invited 100 of women to her at 417 North B Street in the west side of Pensacola. 21 of those women came with $1,000 of the 79 made donations 21 of these women came with $1,000, and the other 79 interdenomination toward the purchase of the Federated home and 423 North C Street. Though her hard work, dedication, that the club home was purchased remains on the street of the on the corner of the C Street and LaRue Street today, and was known as one of the most popular meeting places of the club, women's social group, children community activities in the neighborhood. The Federated Club home was facility that used for social activities as well as young African American women with the neighborhoods. The younger adult women club worked in enhanced opportunities. The club theme was Lift as We Come, which is also affiliated with the National Association of Colored Women's Club, Incorporated. The club was founded as a city association of the Colored Women's Club, Pensacola, Florida. It was Mrs. Ella Jordan who realized how necessary it was for African American communities to work together and to make life better for our children, future generations. I know the people of the generation cannot forget the legacy of Mrs. Ella Jordan. And I would like to recognize the contribution of Mrs. Jordan made in acquiring the City of Pensacola Federated Colored Women's Club. Federated Colored Women's Club home. I hope that this historical club will continue to serve in the community of Pensacola, Florida. Do you know of any of those streets named, since you lived in Pensacola, do you know any of those streets?
I used to live on B Street. You mentioned C Street.
Yeah.
And when I went to school, kind of out. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How much money they raised?
It didn't say total, but they raised over, one group brought $1,000, and several other groups. It didn't necessarily say the exact number, but it was over like $10,000, really.
Okay. Yeah, they did well.
Yeah.
And what they was raising it for?
The Colored Women's Club, home of the Colored Women's Club.
Oh, I see. You know, Shirley is in the second volume of that book.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Shirley, what she wrote.
Oh, okay.
You know, and Solomon came back. You ready to finish reading? Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Earthquake. She was reading earthquakes. Thank you for that, Vicky.
So, when the pressure becomes too much, it is released, then an earthquake happens. Think of it like a rubber band. Much as you stretch the band more and more, finally it breaks. Snap. That's how an earthquake happens. The pressure builds and then snap. This diagram shows how planes move in different directions. The pressure snaps at the focus, the center of the earthquake.
And you say the pressure is at the center of the earthquake? Where is the pressure?
Is in the center of the earthquake.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. What happens next? Once the pressure snaps, things start to shake. The shaking moves away from the focus across the land. On land, you can see the ground move, buildings move, and shake too. If the earthquake is strong enough, buildings can fall down. When an earthquake begins under the ocean, it makes the water move. There's a lot of water in the ocean. If all of that water starts moving, it can make some big waves. But these waves are called tsunamis. They are much taller and more powerful than other waves. They can cause a lot of damage.
Wow, it can cause a lot of damage.
Earthquakes. Where do earthquakes happen? Earthquakes can happen anywhere, but they usually happen in certain places. It's the west coast of North and South America has many earthquakes. So does the east coast of Asia. Italy, Turkey, Greece, India, and the Middle East have them too. Some of the famous earthquakes have happened in these places.
So that's a map that shows where earthquakes are?
Yeah.
Where are they? There's some colors. Tell me what's under the colors.
So blue is Turkey.
Okay.
Red, orange is India.
Okay.
Turkey is blue. Wait. Italy is red.
Italy?
Italy is green.
Oh.
New Guinea is right here.
What is that?
Right here.
Oh, New Ghana. Okay. Guinea.
But let me find some. Iceland is right here.
Oh, let me move your finger just a little bit. Iceland. Okay, Iceland. Okay.
And Greece.
And Greece. Those are the place where earthquakes are the most.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that, Vicky?
What?
So that
Did you know
earthquake,
that?
in-
There are more earthquakes, and she said Italy, Greece, New Guinea, Middle
Italy,
East.
Italy, Turkey, India, Iceland, New Guinea, Greece, and
now I wasn't aware of that because you really just think of earthquakes out there in California. You don't think of it across the world.
Right. Yeah. Solid Might is a teacher today.
Go, girl.
San Francisco, California had terrible earthquakes in 1906 and 1989. Both caused great damage. Japanese and Haiti have had many powerful earthquakes in the last few days. Thousands of people have died and many buildings have been destroyed.
Look, they talking about California now, San Francisco, California. What year was
Okay.
that earthquake, Charlemagne?
Like in which year?
Yeah, what year is on that page to say a year 19 what?
1906.
Oh, that was the worst. 1906 was the worst earthquake in San Francisco, California, USA.
And,
Oh.
1989.
And then 1989, same place, San Francisco?
Yeah.
Wow, San Francisco had the two worst
That's why I don't
earthquakes.
earthquakes anywhere else but San Francisco, but I'm sure they got to be all over the world.
Yeah, she just named the world. Okay, thank you, teacher.
But these earthquakes are rare. Most earthquakes are made with little shaking. Most of the time, everybody is alright and things are fine. Earthquakes are normal events on Earth.
Okay, that's a happy picture. A good day without an earthquake.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, girl. And we will see you next month.
Okay.
Okay, then. So yeah, been writing any more, Miriam? Been writing any more poems?
Yeah, I read some before summer.
Uh-huh. How many have you written now?
I think it's around 15.
Uh-oh, we're getting close to book time. Miriam gonna be a published poet in a minute. Got 15 poems. And you, what grade?
I am about to be in 6th.
6th grade. Yes, ma'am. Well, all right then. Y'all have a wonderful 4th of July weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you next month. First Ed. Look. All right, see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.